Verse 1 says, there was a relative of Naomi's husband. Chapter 2 begins right where chapter 1 left off. Naomi and Ruth have returned from Moab to Israel, arriving in Bethlehem at the beginning of the barley harvest. As we saw last week, it is at this same time of year that Jesus was crucified and then he rose from the dead. Here, sometime shortly after their arrival, it mentions a relative of Naomi's husband. The term relative here should not be confused with another term which will be introduced later, which is translated as close relative. The word here is moda. It comes from the word yada, to know or an acquaintance. The word is masculine, and so it is a male relative. This word then denotes someone with whom another is intimately acquainted with, and thus it is a near relative. It's important to understand that this word here is being tied to Naomi's husband, while the other word for close relative in chapter 3 and 4 is tied to Naomi and to Ruth. Later, when we understand who each pictures and what each word means, we'll understand what this story is telling us. Verse 1 continues, a man of great wealth. The Hebrew here says, Ish Gebor Chayil. It's a phrase which is widely translated and which needs to be carefully evaluated because it points to the most important man in the book, who in turn pictures the most important man who has ever lived. The phrase has been translated as a man of standing, an influential man, a worthy man, a man of outstanding character, a mighty man of strength, a mighty man of wealth, a powerful man, etc. The idea which seems to be implied is that he is a strong and substantial prince of a man, in power, in authority, in riches, honor, and virtue. All of these are implied by the idea of wealth. It doesn't merely mean riches, but it means rich in all ways. He is a type of Christ. Verse 1 continues, of the family of Elimelech. This person is of the same family as that of Naomi's dead husband, Elimelech. And his name, I want to remind you, means God is king, or possibly my God is king. The term for family here is mishpacha, and it indicates a direct family tie between him and Elimelech. Verse 1 continues, his name was Boaz. The name Boaz means in strength, or possibly in him is strength, meaning the Lord. Boaz pictures the Lord Jesus. Now, as we continue through this story, I want you to keep that in mind. Eventually, we'll discover why the story was given and what it ultimately pictures.